Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Amcast with me, your host Khan, bringing you some great music right here from the city of Dubai, United Arab Emirates. As you guys know, we keep bringing in some special guests on the show to talk about the music scene, the community, the art community, creative stuff that's happening right here in Dubai. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest for today. A very dear and close friend of mine who has probably been the biggest contributor to the music scene, true story, in Dubai. And Nash, thank you so much for being on the show.
Probably trying to say the oldest one in Dubai.
The oldest and the wisest, and probably the guy who knows every band's secret, right? So let's get down and dirty right to it. You've been how long have you been in Dubai?
19 years.
19 years, all right. I bet in 19 years you've seen tens of hundreds of bands come and go, right? I mean, I know for a fact that when you moved here, currently you're running the most popular and probably the most well-equipped studio and jam room in Dubai that at least I know of. But when you came here, that's not how you started.
Yeah, recording and rehearsal studio, yeah, in the mix. Well, I came here with the idea actually to make audio training institute to actually educate people in audio engineering. I had similar institution back in Europe, in Malta.
Okay.
I was quite successful, but it's a small country. It's like 360,000 people only, so you reach certain level and you cannot expect that every second person will take audio engineering course.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was to come to Dubai and expand. Everything started in 2004.
Wow.
I rented a nice big villa in Down Jumeirah, just behind
That's not cheap. That's not cheap.
It wasn't cheap those days. Then it reached its peak in 2006.
Oh, 2 years?
2007. Just
2007, about
just
3 years.
before
The big dip.
yeah.
Okay.
And I completely converted. I put up the studio, obviously for practical sessions, and the main room, and everything was turned up completely into something really to be. Apparently, the same year, SA came into
The Giants.
Yeah.
Apparent Giants.
Right. And they step into the market, so I had to find option what to do,
Okay.
because obviously I couldn't cope
Yeah.
with that kind of competition. So yeah, I turned into the music, and I did some commercial work as well in the beginning. I did a lot of movies, ADR for the movies.
Wow.
There was a lot of movies going on, especially Indian, Pakistani co-production stuff.
Oh, wow. You really branched out.
Yeah. I work with Salman Khan, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. He's a big shot back in India.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that these co-production things were going on in a way that everyone was coming here to dub the voices, and it started picking up. So basically, I said, okay, we're left now with music. And those days in Dubai, there were literally 3 bands. There was, I will mention,
Yeah, go for it.
it was Sandwash, Juliana Down, and I think Nersal.
Sandwash, hands down, one of my favorite bands in Dubai.
So everyone was telling me, like, you're crazy. Like, even if all 3 bands want to record, that's only 3 bands that they will record.
Yeah.
Even if all 3 bands want to rehearse, that's only 3 bands. And it was tough, but it survived.
It survived.
It
I mean,
survived
I know
today.
that Dubai has. I mean, there's always been some form of a music scene, which I've seen back in the '90s as well. There were some pretty cool bands that were around at that time, but I mean, we're talking about a time period when there was no social media, there was hardly any gigs, there was no jam rooms. So, a lot of those bands missed out. But then you just mentioned 3 bands, one of which I think is probably Dubai's biggest success story when it comes to a band. I'm talking about Nerf Cell. And you've seen, I'm sure from those three bands, it's evolved into several other bands.
Uh, yeah, there was kind of apparently the lack of musicians, the bands, and led to something that is actually very good stuff in Dubai that I really like, because usually musicians generally around the world don't really like much each other. Um,
We're trying to change that, by the way.
Definitely, that's what I seen first time in Dubai. That musicians are so
Yeah.
cooperative. They
Yeah.
help each other. They're willing to jam together. You know, it's like, okay, I'm playing in my band, but yeah, I'll play
Yeah,
with you. As
why
well.
not?
So, yeah,
Why not?
and yeah, that's one of the nicest things that I've been seeing in Dubai, and I'm really proud of these things, because I feel in a way that I somehow contribute to that as well.
I think 100% you have contributed. You're being modest when you say that, because I mean, your current studio, which is called In the Mix, is located in Al Quoz. It's got 2 jam rooms, which are well equipped. My band's jam there. I know a lot of my friends who are in different bands, from Nerve Cell to Carl and the Red Mafia to some of the older ones who've been around for a while, from Fatiniza and some of the metal bands from the metal community, and all these guys have all at some point jammed at In the Mix. So I think you've definitely played a huge role. But you're also a sound engineer and a music producer. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So have you worked with any of the bands here in Dubai in your lifetime here?
Yeah, I worked. As you know, this is Dubai, so
Yeah.
not many bands really opt to record. And I worked with Beat Antenna.
Nice.
I worked with.
That's Neil Harris's band, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Beat Antenna.
yeah. We recorded their first EP. Then I worked with.
Too many have come and gone.
I can't remember names
you know,
right now.
The fact that you can't remember, I think it means, to me, it means that there have been so many. Now,
Not so many, but you caught me right now, really, to recall.
okay. Well, it'll be a good excuse to have you on the show again. But what I'm trying to ask is that now I've played in bands, I've been in bands, and I have a band and all that stuff. I've had friends in bands, I've jammed with other bands. Some of them, I mean, what would you say is a criteria for a band to say, "Hey, we've made it"? Has any band in Dubai ever made it? And I'm talking about like, yo, man, this is what you do full time. You eat, breathe, live, sleep, music. You make money out of music. You're touring, things like that.
I could say that there's only one band from Dubai that started at In the Mix and that made it internationally. It's Asking Alexandria.
Ben's band.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Nerve Cell's doing quite well.
Yeah. I think the difference between both is that one is still located. I mean, one is still living here. One is not. Right.
Yeah. Juliana Down was doing quite.
At that time. Yeah.
I was doing also
Yeah.
quite well.
When you say, I mean, you said they were doing quite well. I mean,
I mean, going out of Dubai.
going out of Dubai. Okay.
Performing abroad.
Yeah.
Performing like.
Why do you think those bands are not around? Juliana Down and I, for example.
Well, to be quite honest, with Juliana Down, I don't know what's really happened, because they used to know to kind of make long breaks that they disappear,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden they appear again. This last time it's quite long.
Quite a
period
long break.
Yeah, and I don't even know where the guys are.
I know.
don't
I mean,
remember I met either Dia or Sari or.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll get in touch with one of them. I know Dia's still around making. He's into filmmaking now, but we'll try to get him and get those answers. But what do you think is missing? I mean, why do you think bands have a very short lifetime here?
I wouldn't say.
Aside from the obvious reasons that, hey, we graduated, or we were leaving the country for further education, or we got married. You know, what musically, what's missing?
Musically, I think there's plenty of talent in Dubai. I've been always shocked every time the new band come or some new musicians show around. Like really a lot of good talented musicians. So talent's not missing, definitely. I would say it's either that, because a lot of people come here to work for a while.
To make money.
Come on, we know that nobody make money here. Here, whatever you make, you spend. It's just question whether you're going to spend just around the corner or you will go.
Yeah. So correctly
down
put,
to
it's hard
Sharjah and
to
spend money.
hard to save money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of these things that either young people, they grow up here, they start bands, they go very enthusiastic about it, and then all of a sudden, they have to go to study abroad, or parents get relocated, or they start working here, then they get better job opportunities. Because unfortunately here we're dealing mostly with working musicians, people who not doing music full time.
They're doing the bar circuit, yeah.
Yeah. And we still have also like a little bit of problem of venues in Dubai. There's just few really venues where people play, so even that doesn't help, Like you start playing and then over and over and over again the same venue in front of the same crowd, and some people
gets boring.
just lose enthusiasm and kind of.
Do you think the commercial side of media and publishing, like for example radio stations, you've got several radio stations here, do you think they've played a role in the music scene, the local music scene, not being able to really branch out?
They on contrary, they don't play any role.
They don't.
Yeah. I think so far for all this time here, I think I heard maybe twice or 3 times some local song being played on the radio, and not in prime times. Usually.
You're talking about that's 2-3 times you've heard in your whole life here.
Yes. Yes, and usually in some off-peak time, like some
when nobody's here,
late night program and everyone's outside,
yeah,
partying and nobody's listening radio. So apparently never during the day drive time, like when people listen radio.
When people are actually listening.
That definitely don't help. At the same time, perhaps record labels are not present around.
Do you think we still need record labels with the whole internet, with the whole internet helping out?
Yes, the whole internet helping out, but you see, I'm very much into technology, and I'm really grateful for where technology came nowadays. But just because of that internet, I think everybody can put anything up, and people getting reluctant on all that variety that is around.
Yeah.
They don't pay attention anymore.
They can't focus on.
Yeah. I think old school record labels would help. Not that they would promote and advertise more than you can do it yourself, but when somebody is behind that gives some certain value.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Still nowadays people say like, okay, he signed for Sony, or that artist signed for, Universal or whatever. And that straight away it gives some value to that, and people say, woo, So when you get bombarded over the internet with self-promotion, whoever has to put that somebody behind them, you pay attention more than like if you just randomly go and listen.
No, I do understand that. I think
I'll just remind you one thing. You remember on the days of MTV? You don't remember when?
Of course,
MTV,
I remember MTV.
No, you don't remember early days of MTV.
Early days of MTV. What is that? Early 90s? Something around that time.
Late 80s.
Late 80s.
The most important thing was to see video clip on MTV.
Yeah.
Now we have YouTube. everyone's doing videos, everyone's posting videos. How much people pay attention on that?
Not much.
You know,
There's so much
you
more on YouTube.
exactly. So you send me a link, I might look at it.
Yeah.
I might not
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
And you know, if you don't send me link,
Yeah.
nothing. But that was there.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching
Yeah.
just that MTV, and who makes up on MTV? You know, wow.
Yeah, plus I think the biggest and the best thing about MTV was exactly what its name suggested. It was music television. I mean, I know people who would go on YouTube and watch random clips of cats and dogs or movie trailers, but they would not watch an original music video.
No.
Yeah.
Many people don't even watch any music videos. As you say, what they do, they taking selfies, they putting posts of the plate in front of them what they ate. They sending to each other viral videos about cats and as you said, you know.
Yeah. That's the new age.
with all that access
Yeah.
that we have now, again, the selectivity, it's weird.
Music is getting lost, basically, isn't it? You know, that's a good thought. It would be great to actually get someone who knows a little bit more about the music business when it comes to online promotion to get you know, their views on it. So thanks for bringing that up. We're gonna wrap up really quick, but before that, see, what I said earlier, what we try to do at AMPed is bring musicians together to jam together from different bands, make new music. We introduced new amateur musicians to professional musicians just to kind of get an idea and just be part of a music community. That's what we try to do at AMPed. And I know you've been doing that with your music studio and jam rooms for several years now, and you know, you're still around. What's the future for In the Mix?
What's the future? I mean, that's...
Where do you see, I mean, you came here a long time ago. You started off with an institute of sorts, and you changed that.
Yeah.
You turned it into a recording studio, and it's one of the most popular jam rooms now.
Then it turned into rehearsal studio because things were evolving, obviously.
Yeah.
Then we went from 3 bands to, I could say easily nowadays, perhaps 40 bands that are actively
it's a good jump.
performing in Dubai.
It's a good
A lot
jump.
of bands doing their original music. There is mixture of Dubai-based musicians, so-called contract musicians who play bars and they're on contract. And the good thing is that everyone mingles, you know. Like,
true.
And at In the Mix, basically, you know the atmosphere when you're there, you know, like you have people. I have difficulty sometimes to really kick musicians out and say like, okay, guys, it's like close.
I think everyone in the world who has a venue for any reason has a problem kicking people out.
Musicians especially, and the great thing here.
But that's a good thing. That means they like sticking around and they enjoy themselves.
And they like each other, you know, obviously, because there is always some discussion going on and stuff. I think that Dubai has good future. It will just take some time.
With music?
Yeah.
Okay.
We all contributing to that.
Yeah.
And we have to keep contribute harder.
And do you feel that radio stations and promoters, event organizers need to pay more attention to local musicians and bands?
They will apparently. I'll tell you one thing that I noticed. With the crisis in 2008, you remember how it used to be in Dubai? Okay, we need band. Okay, bring band from UK, fly them from Australia. And then 2008, oops, there's no money. All of a sudden, Dubai musicians became good enough to play.
Yeah.
So that was the big step that changed things. I think if that didn't happen, music would be still much backwards.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that helped. I mean, it's ridiculous to say that economic crisis helped.
You never know, right?
But yeah, I mean, in this way. Yeah.
I mean, it helped me embrace music on a big level as well. Going back to what I asked you earlier, what's the future for In the Mix? Do you see yourself expanding further, going into a different, subsidiary of music or artist management or maybe a record? I don't know, like the record business. You know more about it than a lot of other people that I know in Dubai.
Yeah, but things have to just be right decisions in the right time. So
Yeah.
I can't tell you right now. Right now, I know that I'm just adding another studio. So,
You're adding another studio.
yeah.
Okay, so that's
another room. So that's only.
that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I think that's a
Yeah, well, I'm shifting little bit things around and making another room. So.
like a rehearsal room, right? Okay.
Yeah, well, studio basically
Recordings,
because all studios are interconnected, so
Yeah.
I can record basically from two studios. I can record simultaneously.
Recording, I mean, I don't hear much about you recording with a lot of the local bands anymore. Why is that?
Because a lot of local bands record themselves mostly.
Okay.
That's the reason why the recording industry. I wouldn't say it going backwards,
Slowed down.
but it's slowed down because you see, you cannot produce and record efficiently band if they come and they say, okay, we need to track drums only in the studio. So basically, that's like, okay, you mark the drum set, you press record, you give them files. What do you have to do with
Yeah.
it?
It's not much.
There is no attachment to the project, to the band, or they come and say, okay, we want to do just vocals. Like, okay, vocals, dick. Here is the file.
I think rehearsal spaces are a good way to go forward because I think that's needed. I mean, as you said, from 3 bands to 40, and you never know what the future lies with music here. So
Technology change everything.
Yeah.
So you already have latency-free ways of rehearsing online.
rehearsing online, that's a new one. Okay, I mean, it's a new one for me.
Yeah, well, it works on distances.
All right. Well, like I said earlier, we'd love to have you come back on the Amcast again. And thanks for taking out the time for being here with us. Hopefully, we get to do something more with you than just a couple of interviews. We know you've got a great space to, bring musicians in. And yeah, we hope to see you at the Amped Open Mic Nights and Jams at some point in the future. Come by, a couple of drinks on us, and go ahead.
I always support local scenes, so
I know you do.
know that I'm usually around.
I know you do, my
and
friend.
Actually, probably I'm more with you than with my wife and kids. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
Shout out to the wife. Yeah. I mean, we'd love to, keep getting your support and learn from you, Nash, because like I said, it's not about. You joked about it earlier that you're old here, but the fact is that you're wiser because you know more about the scene than probably a lot of the other musicians I've seen come on the show. Thank you once again, and if there's anything that we can do to help you out with your expansion or your future endeavors when it comes to In The Mix, do let us know. That's what we're here to do, support each other in the music community. And yeah, this is Khan and Nash signing off on the Amcast. See you guys soon.
Sure. Bye.